Okay. This meeting is being held in accordance with Public Laws 1975, Chapter 231. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by notice sent to the Star Ledger, the local source, posted in the main lobby of the municipal building, and on the Township website. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by the brand-new commander of Sons of the American Legion, newly sworn-in Commander Judah Krause, and Vice Commander American Legion Post 228, Mark Krause. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our service members here and abroad. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Alford.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser. Committeeman Capides. Committeeman Huber.
Here. Oh,
And Weber.
here. I thought he fired you.
All right, proclamation and announcements. 55-plus residence calendar is out for May 2026. Pizza with the Police is tomorrow, May 13th, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at TD Pizza. Springfield Community Pool membership registration is open, and you can access that information at www.thesay.org/SCP. Overnight parking permission requests will now be accepted online. Please visit www.springfield-nj.us/departments/police. Questions can be directed to traffic@springfield-nj.us. The Union County Board of Elections is currently seeking Republican and bilingual poll workers for the primary election, which is going to be held on June 2nd. Compensation for the day is $300. If interested in serving, please apply at www.ucnj.org/pollworker. The drop box is located in the Chisholm parking lot in the back by the handicap ramp. Early voting begins Tuesday, May 26th and ends Sunday, May 31st. Visit the county website for participating municipalities, www.unioncountyvotes.com. Please note that Springfield does not offer early voting. Memorial Day, Monday, May 25th. The ceremony will begin at 10 a.m. at Veterans Park, with a parade immediately following down Mountain Avenue to Jonathan Dayton High School, where the Springfield Hillside Elks Lodge 2004 has a free hot dog and a drink waiting. The Grand Marshal for the 2026 parade is Joseph Policastro. Please be advised that garbage collection will increase to twice a week starting Tuesday, May 26th through Friday, September 4th. Collection days will either be Monday and Thursday or Tuesday and Friday, depending on your location. The townwide garage sale is scheduled for Saturday, June 6th and Sunday, June 7th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. While no permit is required to participate, we ask that you register your address on the town website, which will allow residents and visitors to easily locate all homes. We're almost done. Springfield Pride Month celebration will be Friday, May 29th at Chisholm Park near the community center. 6:30 p.m. will be the rainbow flag raising, speeches, live musical performances, and 7:30 will be a viewing of Wicked on the big screen. Refreshments will be served. RSVP for the event and event updates are https://register.communitypass.net/Springfield. We have a proclamation for EMS Week, which will be presented to our Springfield First Aid President, Liz Fritzen, and Apu, Jack of all trades. So let me Let me read it very quickly. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public servant, and whereas members of the EMS services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whereas to qualify, emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, whereas emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. Whereas the members of the emergency medical services team, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. Whereas the township relies on not only upon the members of the Springfield First Aid Squad, but also the generosity of those residents and businesses that provide financial support to fund EMS equipment, operations, and training. Whereas we join and celebrate the arrival of a brand-new ambulance, ambulance number 56, the Springfield First Aid Squad's fourth ambulance in their fleet, providing emergency medical services to the residents of Springfield. Whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and accomplishments of the Emergency Medical Services team by designating Emergency Services Week. Now, therefore, I, Harris Laufer, Mayor of the Township of Springfield, on behalf of the Township Committee, do hereby proclaim the week of May 17th to May 23rd, 2026, as Emergency Medical Services Week in the Township of Springfield, with the theme Improving Outcomes Together. And I encourage community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities, and to support the efforts of the First Aid Squad and consider membership to this vital and all-volunteer organization. So let's give a round of applause to our First Aid Squad. Come on up.
Thank you all, Mayor and Township Committee. I want to say thanks for always recognizing us.
Thank you.
And you know, our great excitement was last month when we welcomed ambulance number 56 to our fleet. It's the first time we've ever had 4 ambulances, and there certainly is a need for 4 ambulances with the call volume in the township. So, you know, that's our big excitement. We're working on getting that in service. And again, as always, I thank you for, on behalf of the squad, your support over the years and every year.
Thank you.
Here.
I also want to add an announcement. Celebrating 250 years in God's sight, Presbyterian heritage, and the American Revolution. Join us for a community special event, May 30th. Doors open at 12:30 from 1 to 3:30 at the Presbyterian Church. They're going to be doing a program on America 250. Okay, moving right along. Springfield Police Department will host a presentation on New Jersey's e-bike laws and roadway safety Wednesday, May 20th, 6 p.m. at Chisholm. Questions? Please dial 973-912-2249 or email community-policing@springfield-nj.us. And now I'm going to turn it over to our CFO, Diane Sherry, for, That's right.
We could do the discussion first and then do the public hearing.
No,
I
Alex,
think
let's
you
do it.
open the.
Let's do it.
Let's open the public hearing for purposes of discussing the
town budget.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Sherry, please turn your microphone on. Oh, and before everybody starts, please speak into your microphones.
Tamara? Thank you for your time. This year, as we go through every year, the budget is a combined effort of the Finance Committee. Thank you, Alex and Harris, for your input and hard work, and John Basicolo. As we put together the budget, we meet with all the department heads, so thank you to all the department heads for their efforts in this process. Starts early on, back in November. The department heads submit their budgets to me, where they use historical data and their upcoming needs to create their individual requests, and then the department heads meet with the Finance Committee and John Basicolo and myself, and we discuss what their needs are and what all the requirements. All that data is then taken into one area, and we look at it and come up and debate and change and all that ins and outs. And then I come along and I take all of that data along with the revenues that we're allowed to anticipate and create the document to become the budget document that was introduced last month with all our different statutory requirements and inputs that we need to do, and we come up with our tax rate and we introduce it. So, Tamara? Through all of those discussions, we focus on our budget objectives. Oh, yeah, okay. We're good. So we always look at the community, and we want to maintain our levels of service and continue maintaining roads, and also focusing on our long-term debt situation. And we are looking at controlling our expenses, and we limit the tax increases. This year, we wanted to support our efforts to celebrate America 250. So, next one. And also, the budget looks into our capital plan. We always consider how much debt we have outstanding, where we want to keep our funding going on different projects, and some of that's funded this year and some of it's funded next year. We're always looking for where the needs are of the town. Are we meeting the needs? Are we keeping our eyes focused on what's going to be coming? Because we never want to be in a crisis situation. So therefore, when we plan our projects this year, you'll see them in the capital plan, but more important, also as we do our capital ordinance this year, we're looking at road paving and ongoing improvements to our buildings and sanitary and sewer improvements, which aren't fancy, but they're very important to our infrastructure. We have some new purchases for public safety, new equipment for DPW and public safety, and we're looking at an IT project to upgrade our servers, and a lot of that is in the police department. Next. Now, all this work is only less than 1/3 of your tax bill that will come out this year. We'll be sending out estimated bills as usual around June, and then your final bill, your certified bill will come out in November after for the November payment. So that's where we are. We're looking at the increase to the taxes for the municipal portion is 2.18%, which is well below our appropriations cap and our levies cap and all the other things. It's below the CPI. We did the best we could to control the tax rate. So that's pretty much where it is. You could do the next part. The next part is official. They have to do an open public hearing, and then vote on it. And we'll the rest of the year we maintain that budget and monitor it and make sure we don't overspend it.
Are there any questions from the public on the presentation that we just got? Seeing None. I'm going to close the public hearing. Are there any questions from the members up here?
I'll just make a comment. Every year continues to become harder and harder to manage a budget. We do the best we can every single year to keep costs under control. We are facing effects of inflation, where we're facing now, we will be facing effects in this year's budget on the oil prices that will continue to skyrocket. And we try the best we can. But it is becoming more and more difficult. We continue to look at savings and shared services and cost-cutting measures. But at the end of the day, to provide quality services to your residents that try not to infect the daily livelihood, right? We like to continue to have twice a week garbage pickup in the summer. We look to continue to making investments and improvements in our recreation and our fields across the town. And we aren't going, this administration up here is not going to allow our buildings to fall into disrepair. It's not going to allow our roads to fall in disrepair. So we continue to make those investments year after year to ensure that we don't face a cliff at 5, 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road. So, but it is becoming more and more strenuous year after year, but we continue to work with the department heads to try to find savings. We continue to try to be innovative with what we're doing, but you're not magically just going to create revenue. There's not, unless Chris Webber is going to start knitting blankets and selling them to bring in revenue.
I would,
You would
absolutely buy one.
we'll consider that for next year. That's not. So there's not necessarily, we try to be as creative as possible, but there's not waving a magic wand to just bring in the revenue that's needed. And we understand, as we are all taxpayers here, up here, just like every resident, we're not getting a magical break. Everybody is in this together. And at the end of the day, I think, while I'm not, this budget meets our obligation and continues to ensure that we're not burdening the future generations and future administrations. It's making the prudent decisions it needs to.
Can you give us, because you know, listen, you have handled, in my opinion, the budget really, really well for the last 8 years. Can you give us a snapshot of where we saw the biggest increases in terms of
The
things
health
that affected our budget?
Healthcare is number one this year and has been the past few years. There is no one, anybody that you talk to across all governments and private sector, healthcare is and will be for a while the driving factor and burden that you have. And there's a lot that could be said, right? I mean, I think people point to still procedures that were pushed back after COVID. You have an aging population that is drawing on our healthcare benefits and continues to rely on year after year as they face greater health challenges that we still have to pay for. It's also just the cost of everything, right? The medical industry faces the same inflation that everybody else does. Costs continue to rise. Prescription drugs continue to rise. Procedures continue to rise. It is unattainable. That's not something that we are going to be able to fix on our own, but it's something that we have to face. I think you have to, unfortunately, this is even probably beyond the state issue as the state grapples with trying to figure out how to sustain a state health insurance plan that is slowly in a death spiral. We are no longer in, right? We made the decision 2 years ago now, I think, to pull ourselves out of the state insurance plan, which, hey, saw some savings or more of just more or less stop the bleeding. But those increases continue to rise. So unless people are going to get serious, talk about it, right? This is why federal government matters. They need to get serious in tackling healthcare costs because it's a burden on everybody. On top of that, energy costs are a huge driver for us. We have a number of buildings that have to run 24 hours a day and have to be prepared. Just like your own home, where you see heat and electricity costs rising, the township faces those same issues. We're going also then just regular payroll and pension contributions that continue to affect us all, but we continue to manage and do the best we can.
Well, I just want to add a few things from the public safety perspective, right? Our police and fire are the highest department for payroll and salaries that we receive, this township has. We are still under, we signed a wonderful deal with them 6 years ago, I think, at this point. They got 2%, right? So nobody's getting an exorbitant raise on anything. They got 2%. We're in meetings. We're looking at making, you brought up a good point. Gas back up to $4 and change a gallon. We're not getting a bargain on gas either. We're looking at making these guys drive motorcycles around the town. We're looking at almost any possible way to cut costs for first responders, but yet not cut services, response time, or any services to the public at all. And while that even includes sharing dispatch with the county, which is coming, how long we got before that?
Like Christmas.
No, I met with the county last week. Soft opening is middle of June, hard opening is June 30th.
All right, so you got we'll be going to, hopefully, to dispatch for county in July, which by our estimations is
Christmas.
$400,000 savings at least, because you put manpower back on the road.
And we've already seen savings with that because we switched fire and EMS. We're talking about getting another body on the roads. That's what so there's not a...
So that's a big deal. So I can just tell you from that perspective, which is the biggest hit on our budget, payroll-wise, we are trying everything to keep it at a manageable level, but still, like I said, like benefits, benefits and pension, it's enormous.
Well, but it is an obligation.
But it's
to
an
make.
obligation, right?
And at the end of the day, like, just driving home the point, right? That we have a paid fire. We're not about, we're not going to go back to a volunteer, and that's not even feasible, right? That's not even a question of feasibility. But you have to provide that service because we have emergencies, right? We're not going to cut our police force to ensure that we continue to have public safety and keep people safe. But to do this, it unfortunately requires money. Nothing comes free.
And calls for service for the PD are much higher just in nature than fire. But Chief, what do you see in calls yearly that Springfield, your department, handles?
Yeah, so yearly our calls increase. Yearly our calls increase. We see a rise, a few hundred calls a year, every year. We average about 2,400 to 2,500 calls a year without having a significant storm. Storms will sometimes generate 200 calls for us in a 2-day period. But without having storms, we're averaging about 2,400 calls a year. We stay very busy with these interstate roads and the infrastructure being built. We average about 7 to 8 calls for service a day, including our daily inspections that we do. We're out every building. We're doing fire safety inspections throughout the day in our industrial sections and our schools and our apartment complexes. So, the downtime we have, we spend training, and then we unfortunately spent answering calls, you know.
Actions?
Inspections happen every single day. We're doing inspections. So you'll see our fire trucks out in the street. You'll see us on the highways. You'll see us out at buildings. And what we're doing a lot of times, if our lights aren't on, we're doing in-service inspections, which those men and women of the fire department are out doing fire safety inspections per code, issuing penalties and violations, and making sure that the building's up to standard. And that takes a lot of our day around.
Well, let me put you on the spot right now, because those inspections increased in number because of the effort you put forward to it, which then in turn generated extra revenue for...
Yeah, 100%. We roughly have 1,000 inspections a year we have to do. Now, 1,000 inspections a year does not seem a lot, but the way it works is every time we go out and do an inspection, we're married to that inspection until that inspection is compliant. So one inspection can have us return to a building 3 to 4 times until they're compliant with fire safety violations. So each shift has a allotted amount of inspections per month that they do while they're answering calls. So a lot of times they're in buildings, calls come in, they answer calls, and vice versa. So every time we do an inspection, we charge a registration fee. The state gets some of that money and we get some of that money. And that money goes and it offsets a lot of costs. And, you know, the more important thing is being out there. You know, we answer also several complaints a year with people that call and have a complaint about a building. So they're out there. If you see us, please say hi. We'd love to show you the fire truck, and we'd love to give you a tour.
Thank you. Thank you. John, I just got one thing for you, because Robbie's not here. DPW, we've resisted going full-time with a lot of people for budget purposes. We went with seasonal. I don't know if we could do any better at DPW at that point.
No, and those people help us tremendously, using those as seasonal, because there's no benefits. They're paid a much reduced salary. And on top of that, we use it also as a great training ground for us, because if we get somebody that is very good when there's an opening, we pull from that pool rather than going out and taking somebody kind of blind. It gives us a chance to actually see them as they actually work. So it's worked very well, and it helps us very much so on the budget. We didn't replace one supervisor that left a few years ago. We're still operating with only our DPW director and one supervisor. So again, yes, we've tried to keep our costs down as much as we can. We did also put steps in the last contract, if you remember. So the starting salary was much lower. It increases over, I think it was a 4-year period to get up to where the guy currently would be. So again, just another thing, we're trying to keep the costs down.
Any other comments on the budget?
No.
Can there be a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I second.
Well, before we vote,
Can I just talk for a couple minutes, because I don't know how long I'm going to be in private session?
we're not going to be in executive till the end, so we have public. Just wait till after this vote, and then we have public comment. So you're good. So we have a motion and a second.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public comment is closed. Public hearing is closed. We have public comment on agenda items only. Jerry, now is your time.
Hi, my name is Jerry Ann Casmore, 128 Short Hills Avenue, Springfield, New Jersey. So I'm here to talk about the parade. So it's coming up in just a couple weeks, May 25th, that's a Monday. So it's going to be great. We've got the 250th, so we've got a couple of floats. The American Legion's going to have a float. St. James is going to have a float. The Elks are going to have a float. We encourage everybody to come out. You know, I try to stress this so many times. The parade route is really very short, and we've got parents who walk alongside their kids marching in the parade. Kids love if they would wave to their parents on the side. Honestly, it's just a short while. We would really encourage a lot of the parents, a lot of the people are just to come out. We just want to make it a lot of fun, have everybody have a great experience. The Elks are, again, handing out a hot dog at the end of the parade route. So we've actually increased our budget this year just to accommodate, hopefully, the crowds that we're expecting.
And the price of hot dogs.
Huh? Everything's free.
And the price of hot dogs.
Yeah, right. And so things are free. Everything's free. We hand out a drink and a hot dog. We have the The girls softball is going to have a little exhibition game too, right at the end as well. We encourage anybody who wants to come out. The kids, if they want to come out, decorate their bikes, we'll have them, come along the parade route. Last year, I will say that the marchers almost overtook the veteran. So, if any coaches are listening, if you could please have a banner. Walk behind your banner, don't let your kids go ahead. Everybody wants to see everybody. By the time we get to the high school, it's one clump and we've got 400 people coming for a hot dog. It's really difficult to kind of keep up. So if everybody could just, kind of hang back. Everybody takes a look at all the fire departments, paraphernalia that comes out there, all of the trucks. They've got 1 million trucks out there. That's awesome. Police, we've got I don't know if the CERT team is marching, but certainly the
First aid squad.
First aid squad, thank you very much.
Got you.
So they'll be there as well. The Elks will be marching. Again, anybody that wants to, I just popped in over at Chisholm. There's a women's volleyball league. And I said, hey, if you guys want to march, we're happy to have you guys marching too. Really, we would just really love to have the more the merrier. We'll have the hot dogs to accommodate everybody, but it's a great opportunity to honor our dead, our veterans. I know that the veterans are really happy when everybody comes out. It's really just they just really love it. They really appreciate it. And our Grand Marshal this year is Joe Policastro. So again, we just encourage everybody to come out, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay. Oh, and so you know what? I do want to say that you're talking about the budget. Okay, nobody runs a parade cheaper than me. So the only expense that the town pays for is a pin for the veterans. Okay, that's the only thing I've got, and everybody else is just, comes out for the goodness of their heart. The Elks are donating all of this stuff. It's a service that we're happy to provide. And, so again, that's a wonderful thing. And when we all work together, magic happens, so.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it. Are there any other public comment on agenda items only?
Is the dog park on the agenda?
I don't think so. So you're gonna have to wait till the end, sorry. So sorry. We're gonna try and go as fast as possible, though. So sorry. John Pasicolo, Administrator's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Touching on Veterans Park, DPW is there working on it, making sure that it's cleaned up and ready to go for Memorial Day. We're also up at the pool lot for Sunday's Food Truck Festival. The upper lot is also scheduled to be completely restriped after the festival. The striping will consist of all parking spaces, directional arrows, highlighted speed bumps, handicap, and no parking zone. Vegetative waste, April curbside collection has concluded. Please be advised that vegetative waste can still be dropped off at the Recycling Convenience Center on 44 Morrison Road. Also, just make note that that is monitored by surveillance cameras. And we are up to 20 summonses being issued.
Good
and
work.
we've collected some $5,500. So please do not dump things that don't belong up there. You will get caught. As I think everyone was aware, we had problems with the Jitney bus. What we found out was that there was an engine failure, nothing to do with us. It was just a manufacturing defect. We're under warranty, so it's being worked on. It'll be taken care of. In the meantime, we're using the other bus from the Recreation Department to ensure that service continues without interruption. And Tamara, can you just put up the pictures of, so Mike, if you would like to chime in also, we go up to the culvert once a week or so to look at the progress. Mike, if you want to comment on where we are in that, they're actually moving along very well. It should be concluded by, I think it's June 26th was the last date we got. Mike, you want to fill in some of the details on what we're looking at?
Sure, you're looking at a picture of the Caldwell culvert there. What may be evident, may not be, is the concrete bottom's been poured. You're looking at a formed wall on the left side of the picture or towards the Dayton side. That's to be poured this week. The other side has been poured. So essentially, all the concrete that's going to be poured in place within a week is going to be done. Then the top, the decking as they call it, is precast. And that's been made already. It's in Pennsylvania, waiting to be shipped there. So that'll be plopped on top of the walls, and then they'll be able to backfill, repave. What's going to hold, well, the only thing that will hold up is, of course, the utilities got to get back in there and transfer the temporary services to the permanent services. So you'll see a lull there as they coordinate the crews of the various utilities, gas, water predominantly. There's one telephone pole being held up in the air right now by crane and concrete bollard. There's a close-up of the formed wall with the green is the epoxy-coated steel in the wall, so it's corrosion resistant. And the black pipe that you see in the bottom left is our sanitary sewer that they rebuilt within the excavation. There's a closer view of it.
To look at it, though, it's quite a project. It's a lot more than I think most people thought it was going to be.
This is like gonna last like another 100 years or so.
None of us in the room will be here the next time we got to do it.
Excellent.
The county also won't work on it for another, 150 years.
It is a county project. This is not a penny out of our budget. And I can keep going, but
No,
it's
if
pretty
there's any
pretty
questions-
mundane stuff, so.
Yeah, if there are any questions or comments on it that we can answer, we'd be happy to.
Anticipated completion?
26th of June, I believe, is the date we got last.
Yeah, again, I think the contractor who's directly retained by the county through bid, I think they're in advance of that. So it's really the coordination with the utility and how long they'll take to determine the final ending. But I imagine once that other wall's poured, they're gonna get the top on, they can backfill. Emergency-wise, you could probably, on a stone road, you can get through there. It'll be certainly a better situation than the giant open pit. What you don't see there now is they had to dewater that site. The groundwater is so high that they were, failing the dewatering, they'd be operating in constant water. It's an impossible situation. They had to put dewatering mechanism in place prior to the construction. Fortunately, it didn't delay them getting the bottom in. Now the walls are going in. It's been relatively dry lately, so.
So we're in pretty good shape.
Thank you.
So, Tamara, go on to the next pictures. Okay, so Gomes striped their lot. Mike, what was that the other day? Was that
Striping was
Monday?
today.
Today?
They paved it over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it was striped today, so that's another step in the process. They still have a lot of work inside, but at least the lot now is completed. So they are making progress there. Most of our other projects in town, there's really no update on them right now. There wasn't a whole lot going on from the last meeting. If there's any other questions or comments, I did want to add also, you'll see a resolution tonight for Oakland Park.
Yep.
Because what we did is after we met with the contractor, we decided to have him actually do the sprinkler system. If you looked at the drawings, there's extensive landscaping in there. Our concern was if we tried to coordinate that with the contractor, we were afraid that we wouldn't have the timing right, we'd end up holding him up, et cetera, et cetera. We got a price from him that actually turned out to be very reasonable. This way, we're out of it, it's done in one shot, and we'll be finished on time. So that added, I think it was about $5,000. It's not a whole lot of money. If there's any other questions or comments, we'd be happy to answer.
I just have one housekeeping question that's not directly related to this. It's great to see Mr. Disco, 2 meetings in a row, first on the screen and now in person. The video that we shared last month.
Yes.
I have some people asking me about it that don't have access to Facebook, if we can put it online or.
We were trying to get it, I'm not sure if it got up today, we were trying to get it on the website also. But our way we've got to, and I can't explain it, but it's just a project, it's not easy. So we had to go through our website master to get that up, so it's
You're
being
on
taken
it,
care
and
of.
that's great. I appreciate it.
If it's not up today, it'll be up tomorrow.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, so you have no minutes today. We have new business ordinance on second reading. Madam Clerk.
Ordinance 2026-07. This ordinance amends various provisions of the Township Code regarding snow and ice treatment and removal.
Madam Clerk, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I move that ordinance 2026-07 as read by Madam Clerk for approval on second reading.
Second.
We have a public hearing on the ordinance. Is there anybody that would like to be heard? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Committeeman Capides?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
Yes.
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Laufer?
Yes. Now we have ordinances on first reading. Madam Clerk?
Ordinance 2026-08, this ordinance amends certain land use provisions at Chapter 35 of the Township Code.
Mr. Mayor, I move that ordinance 2026-08 move for approval on first reading as read by Madam Clerk and publicized on the Township website May 14th, 2026, with a final hearing on June 9th, 2026.
Is there any discussion on this ordinance?
Second.
Good save, Alex. Is there any discussion on this ordinance?
Can we just get an overview?
Provide that, Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
So this came from our land use folks within the township, their recommendations. This does really two things. One, it updates a number of different sections within the township code regarding what used to be called the Development Review Committee. That has since been updated to the Technical Review Committee, so there's a bunch of updates to correct the word development to technical. And then the other portion of it is to update a few of the escrow fees and the application fees. On the application fees, for the Technical Review Committee appearances, it used to be a single fee. Now, because there are some times that committee does not require the use of outside professionals, we decided to separate that from those times where professionals are needed. So there was a fee put in place to help offset the costs of professionals when they're needed for purposes of that committee. On the escrow side of things, they're just there are, I believe, three or four updates to existing items: minor site plan, preliminary site plan, and the use variances. And then there's the addition of a bulk use variance for non-residential as opposed to residential properties. So that's a new one. The other new one is when there's a site plan waiver sought for cell tower or cell tower antennas, and that's a new item for escrow. Other than that covers all those items unless there are any questions from the committee.
Can I add a little color to that? These are escrow fees. If they're not used to support the professionals, the money is returned to the applicant. What we were finding was that the escrow fees we had were not covering our costs from the professionals. After the fact, we were having to go out and try to get the applicant to give us more escrow, and we weren't successful a number of times because they had already obtained their approvals. So the escrow fees that we were collecting were too low to cover our professionals. So that's really what it was driving it.
Yep. Makes perfect sense. Any other discussion? No. All right, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Committeeman Capides?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Laufer?
Yes. Moving on to resolutions, please let me know if you would like one pulled after I say it. 2026-143, 2026-144, 2026-145, 2026-146, 2026-147, 2026-148, 2026-149, 2026-150, 2026-151, 2026-152, 2026-153, 2026-154, 2026-155, 2026-156, 2026-157, 2026-158, 2026-159, 2026-160, I need to pull that one. 2026-161, and that is it.
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolutions by consent agenda. Resolution 2026-143 through Resolution 2026-159. We'll pick it up with Resolution 2026-161 through, and that's it.
Second.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Deputy Mayor Kaiser,
Yes.
Committeeman Huber,
Yes.
Committeeman Capides,
Yes.
Committeeman Weber,
Yes.
Mayor Laufer.
Yes. Resolution 2026-160, Madam Clerk, can you read it?
This resolution reestablishes subcommittee of the Township Committee's Cannabis Subcommittee and authorizes the Township Clerk to begin accepting applications for a cannabis retail license.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-160 as read by Madam Clerk.
Second.
Is there any discussion up here? We'll wait till public comment and then absolutely. Madam Clerk?
Committeeman Capides,
Yes.
Committeeman Huber,
Yes.
Committeeman Weber,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser,
Yes.
Mayor Laufer.
I have to abstain. Discussion and action items. I don't see any. Alex's favorite part of the meeting, finance.
I'll make a motion to pay the payroll and invoices for the period of April 29th, 2026 through May 12th, 2026 in the amount of $10,375,101.14.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Deputy Mayor Kaiser,
Yes.
Committeeman Weber,
Yes.
Committeeman Capides,
Yes.
Committeeman Huber,
Yes.
Mayor Laufer.
Yes. We have correspondence, 2025 Tree City USA recognition from the Arbor Day Foundation. Notice of public hearing, New Jersey American Water, BPU, WM 2511-0610, May 20th, 2026, 4:30 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. For further information, contact the Board's Division of Case Management at 609-292-0806. Notice of public hearing, NJ American Water, BPU, WR 206-010-0010, May 27th, 4:30 and 5:30. For further information, contact the Director of the Division of Rate Counsel at 609-292-0806. Public comment on any governmental issue. Before anybody goes, we have a 4-minute time limit. Please give your name and address before you speak to the body.
Jerry Ann Casmar, 128 Short Hills Avenue, Springfield. So I have a question, actually not a question, a comment about the cannabis. You know,
Wait,
If-
could you, because they're going to complain they can't hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jerry Ann Casmar, 128 Short Hills Avenue, Springfield, New Jersey. So I have a comment about the cannabis. You're reestablishing a subcommittee. You know, we are living in a crazy time at the moment, and what's happening is we have a lot of our young people are high, they're driving around high. You can't walk down a street. I work in Bayonne. I can't walk down the street without smelling it. I can't walk down the street sometimes here. I'm driving on the road. We've got the smell of, people are smoking weed in their car. We are enabling our children and our old people too. Honestly, I know a bunch of people that are taking gummies and everything else. We need to be more alert, not to be, just half dead. I mean, this is what's happening. I don't want our town to enable these people to do this. It's incredible to me that people are so easy, and they say, well, it's money for the town. Damn it, it's blood money. This is not how I think that we should do this. And so that's my opinion. I don't think we should have another one of these places in town. They are saturated. You can go all over 22. They're up and down the roadways. I mean, this is really, we need to help protect our people, not, again, enable them, not to make them, keep them high, keep them stupid, and, oblivious to what's happening in the world and in our town, and I think that's the problem. And so I don't think this is a good idea. I think we should stop what we're doing and just not put any more of these places in the public eye. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Casimir. Is there anybody else who would like to speak? Come on up.
Okay, I wanted to talk about the dog park. Mike, sorry.
Yes, please speak into-
Allison Miller, 1 Hemlock Terrace, Springfield. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for what you do. I appreciate all of you making our town better every day, and you don't hear that enough, so thank you. As far as the dog park that's proposed, I'd like to come out and say that as I've sent you all a letter, I think it's a poor idea. Why? I own a dog walking company. We walk over 700 dogs a week. I've been doing this for 22 years. I have a lot of experience with dogs. People think that they have great dogs that are socialized, that aren't properly socialized, and they bring them into spaces like this, and other dogs get hurt. My dog got hurt. Chris, your dog got hurt in a supervised situation. It happens all the time. You bring a lot of dogs together, especially people who are unaware of their own dogs. You know, we love them so much, they're our family, that we don't see their shortcomings and that maybe they weren't socialized properly and shouldn't be around other dogs, and it can become very dangerous. So the location where you guys proposed it is a very small space for a dog park, first of all. So you get big dogs, you get little dogs, and it's right next to a playground. You get little kids sticking their hands in, and you know, not all dogs are good with kids. It's a dangerous situation to have a dog park so close to children. Another point of contention I have is there's no parking over there. So we have the community gardens there, and our gardeners complain all the time that they can't find parking to go work on their gardens. This is like a sanctuary to our gardeners. They come for a safe, quiet space. We have a Zen bench over there. There are students that come on the paths and they lay down underneath the trees and relax there. It's a quiet, really nice space for people to relax and enjoy peace and quiet. And having a dog park there would ruin that peace and quiet. There's a lot of noise with dogs. My dogs bark constantly. I'm constantly stopping them and having to bring them inside and reprimand them, and they're mine. It's just not a good location. Nobody loves dogs more than I do. You know, they're my family. I went into this business because I love dogs so much. But I just think that there's too many bad factors with this location. Not to mention, I was upset that they took down some trees to make room for the dog park. I do love that you guys are going to bring some water in. That'll be amazing for the gardeners. I mean, we've been needing water over at that location for a long time. We've been with our rain barrels and grabbing buckets and going to the river and watering the gardens. So having water there is amazing. Thank you for that. But I just wanted to come out and say that as a professional who works with dogs every day, this is a poor location, and you'd be ruining a really nice, quiet park that I know you guys think is underutilized, but if you actually look, there's always people there. There's people laying down under the trees. There's people walking through the paths that go to the high school in the back. It really is utilized, and it's a lovely, quiet park, and I just wanted to say I hope, you know, you consider all the factors, and, you know, that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Miller.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I just make one comment? No trees were cut down for the park. The trees that were moved were stone dead. I think, Mr. Betcher, I think you went over there, did you not?
He did, and so did, I spoke to the arborist too. So the trees eventually would have to come down. They obviously moved up the removal of these trees because of the prospective dog park.
Okay, I beg to differ, but okay.
That's what I was told.
Thank you. Come on up. This is great. We have actual public comment at a meeting.
Yes,
Thank you for
and
coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Lauren Klein. I live at 77 Wabino Avenue, which is adjacent to the proposed dog park. So I understand the value of community spaces, and I want to be very clear that I'm in no way opposed to dogs. I'm actually a dog lover, but unfortunately I'm not able to have a dog. My concern is with the location of this proposed project and the very real impact it'll have on residents who live immediately beside it, especially my family. My property already experiences ongoing issues from the current park activity, including excessive foot traffic, people cutting across our lawn and through our driveway daily, littering, noise, and dog waste being left behind on our property. Establishing a dog park in this location will significantly increase those problems and permanently change the quality of life for the nearby homeowners. I am deeply concerned about increased barking and noise, traffic and parking congestion, which is something we already experience, sanitation and waste management, safety and liability concerns, as you've already brought up, and especially near a park that is designed for very young children. The environmental impact and the potential negative effect on surrounding property values. I also understand and want the committee to understand that this issue directly affects my family's health and our ability to enjoy our home. My son has severe dog allergies, and increasing concentrated dog activity directly beside our property raises serious concerns about exposure to dog dander and waste, affecting his ability to play safely in our own backyard. In addition, many residents appear to have learned about parts of this project only after discussions about utilities and water line approvals had already begun. There have been 2 articles in Tap Into Springfield about the proposed dog park. However, when I reached out to the Township Committee, I was told that nothing had been approved to date and there were no plans available to be reviewed. That to me is concerning because residents deserve transparency and meaningful public input before decisions that heavily impact our neighboring homes move forward. I ask that the township clarify whether any historical, environmental, or preservation considerations have been reviewed regarding this area in the nearby Battle of Springfield walking path and area. I ask that respectfully that the committee consider pausing any further development plans, provide full public disclosure of all proposals, approvals, and studies connected to this project, and seriously reconsider whether this is an appropriate location for a dog park given its close proximity to residential homes and a park designed again for very small children. The residents most directly affected deserve to be heard before any permanent decisions are made to our home and our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jeff Chait, 47 Shelley. Just 2 quick things. One is the Oakland Avenue Park, is that the final name for it?
No.
Okay, because I know we talked about it last year, about putting it out to the town,
Yeah,
to the students,
it's
the
not.
community, try to come up with a historic name that might be something interesting.
We're just calling it the Oakland Avenue Park for the sake of building it. It's not the final name.
Okay, and one other thing, one of the dealerships, I don't want to mention on public record, maybe I will, that Paramus Ford, I dealt with them years ago, I didn't have a pleasant experience, and I see you're buying a truck from them. That might be too late.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other final public comment? Okay. Seeing there are none, I just wanted to open it up to the dais.
So conveniently, I saw a video from Echo Park, Echo Lake, with the dog park. Yeah, and they have a great-looking dog park, but I guess what I never realized was that there's a big dog park and a little dog park. And these dog parks had a lot of space in them. My opinion on this is, after looking at other dog parks, is that I don't think we actually contain an area in Springfield that has enough for a big and a little dog park. But anyway, I see your point on that one, right? And then I just want to say something about the cannabis situation. I'm a guy that drinks 1 beer a year. I really hope that the attitude that certain people take about people who want to use cannabis is the same as it is with drinking. Because I'm going to tell you, as a cop, when people asked me what my problems were in the Newark Police Department, if the camera's watching this, it was alcohol, and then it plummeted down to cocaine, heroin, PCP, angel dust, pills, Xanax, Codone. I was a drug guy, all right? Alcohol, most obnoxious, disrespectful, and downright criminal people in the behavior that I've ever seen comes from alcohol. So while I understand the situation that cannabis isn't for everybody, I hope you take the same stance for alcohol, because there's a lot going on with that one.
Anybody else on the dais?
As most of you know, I voted against cannabis here. I always did, I always will. Not saying we're gonna open another shop. Especially around here, we will not. But I hold strong against it. I grew up with it, and I'm against it, I'm against that. So, I mean, I know Jerry on 22, I go down 22, my wife and I, and every other corner there's one. There's too many, I feel.
It did.
Yeah. No, well, there's
That
one
is-
that's been.
that is accurate.
I don't even think we.
Here's what happened. We had one dispensary, and it was Story. And Story, we had what we considered a very good deal with Story. As long as they were the only game in town, we received $75,000 a year for them as a police officer, for a police officer, $75,000 a year for community projects. 25?
It was 25.
25, sorry, 25 for community projects, and 2% of gross receipts,
Correct.
which the short time they were open, I think was about 100,000. It, be- it, 30, if it was 30, then. All right, then we're gonna have to have a talk, because I was told it was 100 no more than a week or two ago. But needless to say, they went out of business.
That is correct.
We pulled that resolution, and normally when that happens, we take a moment to explain what the resolution is, and for some reason, and I don't know why we didn't do that.
We only pulled it because the mayor needed to.
Yeah.
I understand, and usually sometimes, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. I wanted to ask is if Mr. Dowd would just explain the purpose of that resolution and what it's doing by its approval. What it is doing and maybe what it isn't doing.
Sure. And I think that most of the points have already been touched upon, but yes, it was noted that Story Dispensary is no longer operating. And the town there's authorization for up to one license for a retail establishment within the township of Springfield. Because Story is currently not operating, the intent of the resolution is twofold. One, to reconvene the cannabis subcommittee, because the cannabis subcommittee has a role to play in reviewing potential applicants and making recommendations, if any, to the township committee about how to move forward. And in this case, that would potentially be if the Story dispensary license is no longer active or no longer otherwise sort of operable. The town wants to be in a position to make the choice about awarding another license if there's an applicant that comes in that's qualified. And that's what the township code provides for right now. And so this really just recognizes what's already in the township code in light of the developments with the previously existing cannabis business in town.
If I'm not mistaken, we also have a lot of laws, or whatever you want to call them, that they can't be around schools, they has to be so far from schools, and I forget off the top of my head, I remember when we were talking about it, arguing about it.
Yeah.
I think we're losing the plot here. We've already gone through this, we've already done this. A few years ago, there was a cannabis review commission. It was chaired by myself, and I think Committeeman Weber sat with me. We reviewed, at that time, I think there was under 10 applicants. We went through them all. There was a thorough review process, a thorough study process, showing you know, what they envisioned, the plans, they had to apply to the state. The same thing would just be replayed out now because we currently have an open license, and if they haven't started already, there has been interest in potentially other businesses approaching the township with a license available. So we would need to reconvene this subcommittee to review that. That does not mean that anything has been awarded. It does not mean that we will reward. But we have to create this to review that. With that being said, I think I speak for majority of the members here. We were supportive of a retail license before. I'm imagining that we would be supportive of a retail license in the future. It is a legitimate business now. It brings in revenue for the town. It is part of a growing new economy. People are going to partake in that, whether we have a legal market or an illegal market. If you want to put your head in the sand and pretend it doesn't exist or doesn't happen, that's your right. But unfortunately, I don't think that we should let this pass us by while every other town continues to make revenue off of it.
Well, 100% agree with you. Here's my situation right now, because Kathy, I put something online to you that is not accurate. So John, Diane, you two are gonna figure out somehow how I got a $100,000 number from the two of you. Because that is what I was told for a fact. I asked exactly what was the revenue from Story that we got for the year, and I was told $100,000.
I'm sorry, Mr. Rowe,
No,
I
go
may
ahead,
have
figure that
misinterpreted.
one out.
I only listed, the amount I gave you was only the revenue that's listed for tax, the revenue tax, from just 2026, 2025. I will go back and double check the numbers that were given to you, that if they may be included up to the date, and including the police contribution, where the police contribution is not shown within the budget. So I think I answered in your direct question tonight incorrectly, or not as you're expecting to hear.
Kathy, I'll
I'm
amend my
sorry.
comment to you on that one. I'm sorry about that. I wasn't given.
Let me ask a question. Can they sell the license to someone else, just like a liquor license can be bought by someone else?
No.
No, they can't? All right, that I didn't know.
They can go through the ownership change process, but that is a completely different process than the liquor license process. The parent company of Story is in bankruptcy proceedings because they've opened too much too soon. And it's kind of on them to see what they're going to do. It is on Springfield now to choose what we would like to do, which is, all we're doing is beginning that process.
All right.
And that was the point of bringing up my point to Mr. Dowd. Obviously, we're not going to be talking about the whole process and procedure now, but it was more of having Mr. Dowd explain that we are at step one, the exploratory stage, by opening up the ad hoc committee to explore and have the conversations that we were having now with the ad hoc committee, for them to come back and explore more options with us. And that was my whole point of introducing and having Mr. Dowd explain what that is, so that we can be more transparent about what this resolution does and doesn't do, and what the intended steps may be moving forward. And I appreciate that. But I think I kind of, with that, got us a little off track.
Yep,
I apologize.
no problem.
And I just want to add one more thing to my statement before. Listen, I'm not a fan of the liquor stores either. If I can get rid of them, I'd get rid of them too. I don't like them. I think I think that the aggravation that we get from General Green for the littering and everything else is not worth the headaches of people coming online and sitting there saying that they live in a shithole town because there's litter by a bus stop. If that's the biggest complaint you have, that there's litter by a bus stop, Because the people of General can clean it, you live in a damn good town, right? So if I can get rid of them, I'd get rid of them too. I'm not a fan of it, but what I do recognize is that if you accept one, you kind of got to accept another, and the only thing that I feel that we have control on is the number of ones that we can put out there. That's really the only thing I
And who comes in.
acknowledge. And who comes in, right. If this was something, if this was the case during liquor stores when they were put up, that's long before anybody that's set up here. I don't know how that licensing came about or however it was. But I would see things very differently with them also. I just recognize, though, that one kind of carries the other, so.
Sure.
Thank you.
Any other comments before we go into exec?
Mr. Mayor, could I just update on grants for the committee?
Sure.
We received a grant of $93,000 from Union County for Community Development Block Grant. That's for Fieldstone Drive, milling and paving. Also will update all the sidewalks adjacent to the Chisholm Rec Center there. We've got sidewalks that have been lifted by trees. We've got a DOT have advertised for 4 different types of aid. We really only qualify for one because they're transit means.
Yeah, we're not a transit hub.
Not a transit. So municipal aid, we would like to do Briar Hill Circle. Last done about 16 years ago. It certainly needs it. The applications are due at the end of June. If you feel that that's appropriate, as I do, then we would get a resolution for a future meeting. Got the PGA coming in '29. You're going to have a lot of foot and vehicular traffic going through there, so doing that in '27 or '28 makes a lot of sense. John sent me something called Safe Streets for All, which is a federal program where you try to accommodate all types of road users. There is a grant that we could consider. It's an action plan. You have to have an action plan in place before you can get money to actually build things. The action plan probably costs 100 to 150. Federal local match is something to 80-20 or less, meaning the maximum the federal government would contribute would be 80% of that. So I'm willing to do that grant. It's due at the end of May. It would have to be done by outside people, but you would have to probably put up 20, 25, 30,000 if you got a grant for the 100 or whatever. Something to consider, but you would need the action plan, which really studies accident rates, how you get bicycle working with pedestrian on roadways that already are limited in the right-of-way and cartway widths. So that's something we can look forward to, but that's due at the end of May. So 2 grant opportunities coming up, which I think we, certainly municipal aid we've been very successful at, and maybe the federal one we can also put in. We did also get the brick. Mayor Laufer had forwarded that. We certainly would like to consider Duffy's on that. That was not something we could do on the Keene, the Kim, various subcommittees, because you have to have it ready to go. We don't have that permit yet. The brick funding isn't due to the end of July, I believe, so it's possible we may get our permit in prior to that deadline, and they might accept that. It's still an uphill battle, I think, but I'm willing to do those, so just an update. I didn't mean to elongate the meeting or take up your time.
Nope. Alex?
Another thing I'd like to bring to the people's attention. I talked with the police, and there are a lot of e-bikes in town, and e-bikes laws are changing. There was a meeting on Wednesday the 20th, which the mayor already said. It's 6 p.m. at Chisholm Community Center. If you have an e-bike, or if you're getting an e-bike for your kids, for you, I say go to the meeting, because you're going to lose it if you don't know the law.
Alex?
I just want to recognize, last week was Municipal Clerks Week, and I just wanted to recognize the outstanding team that works every day, not only to keep our elections in town and to keep our records and keep our minutes, but there's a lot of the administrative work of this town every single day. So to Linda, Maureen, and Tamara, you really do help keep us prepared and help every single resident in town be prepared. So acknowledge your hard work over the, not only last week, but every day of this year.
Yeah, you put up a lot with us. You know, Linda and you put up with a lot from us, and we appreciate it.
Not from me.
Oh.
I'm Mr. Friendly.
Well, before we go into exec, I just want to publicly acknowledge our Department of Public Works for their work on Severna Avenue. A couple residents wrote to myself and other township staff to praise you. So the Britancos, thank you. Well done, Robbie and crew. So thank you. With that, Madam Clerk, can you read the resolution to go into executive session?
Whereas Article 6 of the Open Public Meeting Act provides that a public body may hold a closed session, and whereas the Township Committee will during this meeting enter into discussion of the following matters: attorney-client privilege and potential litigation. Whereas the matters to be discussed in the closed session are to remain in the strictest of confidence by the Township Committee members in the furtherance of their fiduciary duties to the Township of Smithfield. Now therefore be it resolved, matters discussed at this meeting will be released to the public when the reason for discussing and acting upon them in the closed session no longer exists.
Motion going closed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're enclosed.